How's it going, everyone? This is Streak here and welcome to yet another Blender tutorial. The last one went down pretty well, so that's why I'm deciding to make this one, and this might be just as important because this is an in-depth extruding tutorial. The rig I'm using is Timy's rig V7, but this could apply to other rigs because they function in quite a similar way. So I'm literally going to go through every single part of the Minecraft character that you could possibly extrude, and I'm going to give you some tips as to how to make the extruding as realistic as possible. So let's get straight into it, and we're going to start off with probably the most difficult part, and that's the hair. So in Timmy's rig, you have to click on the edit tab, and then you can start editing the rig. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to go straight to the inside layer, so not the 3D layer but the inside layer. Press tab to go into edit mode, and press the slash button to make sure that that's the only thing you see. This makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. So let's just get straight into it. So what I'm going to do is press C to open up this little brush thingy over here, and just click to select pixels. And what I'm going to do over here is I'm just going to drag and select all the pixels that are hair, essentially. So if I just do this real quickly, all the way around, make sure you get don't leave out any spots, because otherwise it'll look really weird. And it's not difficult, but it's just a bit time consuming to make sure to join those leftover pixels back again. So just make sure you selected everything, give it a check, and once you've done that, make sure you haven't selected any skin pixels either, because that looks really messed up. And then press P and click selection. Now what that does is it removes the hair, and so now that this is just a separate entity, if you will. Now there are two ways to extrude the hair. You could either go for a really complicated way, which takes time but does look really cool, or you could go the simple way. So I'm going to show you the simple way first. You could, if you want, now select the hair and now press slash, and all you can see is the hair. So the simple way first, go into the modifiers tab, which is the spanner thing over here, click add modifier and solidify. Okay, now in Timmy's rig V7, edge split is already there. So if we drag the thickness up, drag it to the left, by the way. If you drag it to the right, then it goes inside. So drag it to the left, then as you can see, it isn't joined up at the edges. So what you do here is you click on this little down arrow over here on edge split, and then what happens there is that the hair joins up. So you can really adjust how thick you want the hair. I'm going to keep it this thick. If you press slash again, okay, that's a bit too thick. Let's bring it back down a bit. Okay, so there we go. Now that in terms of extruding hair the simple way, some people do like to extrude it like really far out. It gives it like a more cartoony look, which I kind of like. I normally keep it like in the middle somewhere, so not too little but not too much either, just like in the middle right there. So let's keep it like that. So this is one way of extruding, and then what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to select the hair on the 3D layer this time, P selection, and while I'm here I might as well just do the hood of my jacket. Make sure you get all the pixels. P selection, right, and then we can just delete the excess. So now if I take this second layer, solidify it again, move the edge split down and increase the thickness just so it overlays. So there we go, we've got the hair done basically. And if we click on this thing and go into preview this time and just render it, there we go. So you've got some extruded hair, and that looks pretty good actually. Obviously it depends on what kind of skin you have. I've got like 3D hair overlaid, like sort of a quiff, so I'm guessing that's why it looks good. But there you go, you do have that option if you want to extrude hair. But now I'm going to show you the other options. So what I'm going to do is go back into edit, select these, and just cross out the solidify, so it reverts it back to normal. So this is what it looked like before. Now I'm going to select the hair, and this time what you can do is just select random pixels, literally just random pixels. So if I just select, I don't know, I'm just gonna literally select random pixels, and then you extrude them separately. So if I take These. Make sure some of them are like joined together as well, just to make it a bit more realistic. Because they're not all going to be random. Take some from the front as well, why not? Okay, so this is our first set of random pixels, some on the top as well. Right, there we go. So first set of random pixels, P selection. Then we select the rest of it, and then select some more random pixels. So just literally, I'm just clicking randomly right now, and I'm just, you know, accepting whatever my mouse lands on. So a bit more over there, some on the top. Okay, I've selected those. And sometimes it goes through because we've left gaps from the previous selection, so then it goes through and that adds to the randomness, if you will. So okay, and then we can leave the third part as it is. Right, so now we extrude these separately. So solidify, move the edge split down, and then you extrude. Then we take the next part, solidify, edge split down, extrude. And finally, the unextruded part, solidify, edge split down, and extrude. So now, if I take the other layer, and this time what you do is you start off by selecting edge pixels, and you slowly work your way in. So I'm going to select these pixels, and then go on this one, select, let's see, these maybe. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep those. I'm actually gonna select these off, and I'm gonna join them with the edge one over here like this. Okay, so now they're one thing. Right, so now what you do is you don't have to solidify this time, but because these are the very edge ones, I'm gonna solidify these ones. There we go. And the other ones you don't have to, but because they're on like a level, you could do this. So press A to select all and just press extrude. You could do that, or because they're all on one plane, you could do solidify. I'm just going to do it this way. So E to extrude, individual, and then just bring it out, and then inside part, E to extrude, and bring it out. Just a little bit more. So now, if you take all of that, press render. As you can see, I'll probably brighten up the screen because it's a bit dark right now, but there is much more detail in the hair. So I might actually just show you in preview because it's a bit easier to see. It's a bit too dark in the render. So there you go. You can see there's much more detail in the hair because we've got like loads of different pixels extruded, and you know, it's more time consuming, but I think it's worth it. Now let's move on to the clothes. So let's start off with the hood over here. Go back into edit mode, select this hood thing, and because it's just a hood, all you need to do this time is solidify, edge split down, let's increase it. Make sure it goes over the hair so it looks realistic. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the top part, so the head of the character. Now let's move on to the body. If there's a 3D layer and there's nothing on it, then you might as well delete it. So press delete and then done. Because there's no point of having it there, and it just obstructs you selecting the inside layer. Alright, so now let's move on to the arms, and there are two ways you can go about this. You can either select the entire part, the entire sleeve if you will, and just extrude it, but I think it looks a bit weird when posing. So what I learned you could do is just extrude the so basically the part where the clothes meets another area, you just select the end pixels and you go solidify and just extrude that part. There we go. So just extrude that one part over there. Then over here I've got like two sleeves going on, so then I'll take this part as well and extrude this as well, less than the previous one, but still a bit. So what that does is it gives the effect, yeah, so it gives the effect that it's 3D, even though it's not. These layers are actually on the same level, but because we've extruded this part, it looks like that they're moving down. So if I just extrude this part a tiny bit more, so it looks like they're going down. And this is a really effective way of, you know, showing that there are multiple layers going on. As you can see, it looks really effective. So now let's move on to the body. Now again, you can go about a similar aspect. You do not have to extrude the entire jacket. What I do is I just take the edge where it meets a different material. If I take the edge there, you could take the edge around here as well. Yep, select, and then same for the t-shirt, just take these pixels. There you go. Right, so we've got everything we need. So now let's start off with the edge of the jacket. Make sure you move. This time on the body there isn't an edge split, so you just add one, and you just extrude it really. Okay, there we go. Okay, right, there we go. And now the t-shirt, solidify, add an edge split as well. Now this time make sure it's less than the jacket, otherwise it doesn't really make sense. So make sure you extrude it just less. There we go. And then on the back over here, I mean this applies to my skin, but you know, you could do this for whatever pattern you have on your skin, if there is any. Take the white part, solidify, edge split, and extrude it. Not as much, obviously. So yeah, there we go. So now if I show you what this looks like, let's preview. So now you can see this is really coming together now. So we've got the sleeves, we've got the jacket that looks like that, you know, it's pulled over, and the chest, and the t-shirt is also 3D. Obviously these two are on the same level, but it gives the illusion that they're not. So now let's move on to the legs. Now there's not much you can do with the jeans, but there's definitely a lot you can do with the shoes. So we'll go straight onto the shoes, delete these 3D layers because I don't have any. So now what we can do with the shoes is we can take the separate, so extrude separate parts of it. So we've got the blue part, we've got this middle white part. This will be on most Minecraft shoes. And what I do is I just take the edge. I do not take this bottom part, because otherwise when you extrude it, it becomes way too big. So now what I do is I take the blue part, solidify, and I make it minus 0.03. Okay, there we go. And so minus 0.03. If you're using Timy's Minecraft Rig VC 6.4 my emboss worthy edit, then it will be minus 0.3. But they've changed it this time. So now I take the bottom part, solidify, push it down, and I extrude this to minus 0.05. And now you can go about this two ways. Recently I've started doing it this way, so literally I just leave it like that. But you could also, if you want to extrude this part out, what I do is I do this as minus 0.05, and then I make this minus 0.055, just to make sure it goes a bit further out, and then you can leave it like that. So yeah, that's pretty much. If you want, you could add detail to the jeans by, you know, selecting random pixels again. So I might as well just do that, because, you know, this is a pretty in-depth tutorial, so might as well complete it. Just taking random pixels. You could select them by color, but normally they're arranged in patterns, so it would not look as random. So yeah, take those pixels, select some more random ones. If you're selecting multiple, then try reducing the size of your brush. You reduce that, you increase and reduce it by scrolling your mouse wheel. So taking some of these, right, that looks pretty random. I realize I should probably separate the shoes, the bottom of the shoes. Right, okay. So now let's solidify. Right now it looks a bit messed up, but in the preview it looked fine. Take this, solidify. And take the last part and solidify. And split it down. Because it's a bit, sometimes it will be glitchy and you just can't really do anything to fix that. Well, you probably can, I just don't know how. But yeah, so it does give a bit of a random effect, and if I go into preview, there you go, it looks much more, I guess you could say realistic, but sometimes I just don't have time to do this in my speed art, so I don't. But yeah, you could do that. I'm just gonna increase the ambient occlusion just a tiny bit, just to show where we have created more shadows now. So so we can definitely see the 3D aspect here, over here, in the jacket, and in the hair. I will brighten up the screen, I promise. So yeah, that's pretty much the tutorial done. As you can see, we've got, well, a half extruded character. I only extruded the parts that I needed to. There's no, you can just repeat it on the other side. But there you go, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to add one more thing. In Timy's rig, in V7, you can also tick this part, 3D layers, and what that does is if you have any 3D layers, then that'll literally just extrude them backwards, and that's really useful. So all you need to do is extrude the inside layer. So yeah, if I just turn this on, the only 3D layer I have is the hair, and what that does is it just connects it. You can see right here at the top, right over there, it just connects it to the back. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the extruding tutorial. I hope you learned something from it. Hopefully it helps you in your extruding from now on. Let me know in the comments section what other tutorials you would like to see. And make sure you leave a like as well, so I know whether this tutorial was helpful or not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been Streak, and I thank you all very much for watching this video. Have a great day.